Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to conduct classes for the subject Life Orientation and Life Skills 2. I am your tutor, Mr. Thaddeus Shikukuma, and I will take you through some important aspects of this subject. As a norm, I would first of all like to start with action verbs. The action verbs are not taken from somewhere apart from the beginning of your module. The action verbs are quite helpful in the sense that once you understand the meaning of a certain verb, action verb, it will be easier for you to approach the question in your assignment or in the examination for that matter. So it's a matter of just mastering the verb itself, and you know the requirement. Once you know the verb as it presiding the answer, then obviously you are not going to, the question, obviously you are not going to struggle to answer because you know what is expected from you. I would therefore like to advise you to always look at the verbs at the very beginning of your module for you to answer any question that comes your way or that comes your way. The verb analyze. If you are required to analyze, what are you basically doing or what is expected from you? You should examine information in detail. The information that is given, you should examine it in detail, not just the basics, but quite in detail. Calculate. Should a question ask you to calculate, what are you doing? Calculation is a numerical answer from different figures, from a given figures. The figures are given, so you need to give that. But basically, it does not really happen in life orientation, life skills subject. Comment. What are you doing? And this is also common in exam or in an assignment. You discuss briefly by giving positive and negative points. Discuss briefly by giving positive and negative points. Compare. What are you doing? If you are doing the comparisons, you draw a conclusion about the similarities and differences. Because when you are making comparisons, of course, you are looking at the similarities as well as the differences. Contrast. Basically, you are only looking at the similarities if you are doing the contrast. This is a more application question. Criticize. What are you doing? You give a reasonable judgment after weighing facts carefully. So which means that first of all you have to weigh facts and then we'll be able to give the reasonable judgment. Deduce. Use the information provided in order for you to reach to the conclusion. So if you the question is asking you to deduce, so you have to give the information that's provided and then you drive to the conclusion. Define. The word define or the verb define, very, very common and popular because it comes in exam, it comes in an assignment. It's no way somebody would draft a question paper or an assignment without a word define. So therefore you must master this word and you should understand it. What are you doing if you are required to define? So you give the precise, and I repeat, precise or brief meaning and features. So you don't have to beat around the bush, you just have to give it the way it is. Demonstrate. If the question is it's requiring you to demonstrate, you show by examples. Show by examples. While describe, you provide detailed features for and against. Detailed features for and against. Determine. You must use the provided information for you to work out the answer. While distinguish, you describe two phenomena. Clearly give a difference of the two. So it must come out which is which if you are to distinguish. So these two phenomena must come out which one is which one, because you should give the difference. Estimate. You give the impact of something. Evaluate. You determine the value of something as per the criteria that are set or that are given. While when the question requires you explain is also one of the popular, very, very vocal word. So what you are going to do, you describe by indicating relationships between things. While if the question has requested you or has required you to find what you are doing, you calculate, you measure, and you determine. The other popular word is identify. If you are required to identify, then what you are doing, you recognize a name. As simple as that. While illustrate, you describe with examples. Interpret is also one of the verbs that might come your way. You describe something, explain meaning of graphical information. The other verb that you should prepare or you should understand into detail is examine. So if you are required to examine, you present or you identify detailed features of something. Other one, very, very simple. List, what are you doing? You present a list of facts, names, objects, etc. While summarize, you focus on main ideas and you don't have to give examples. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go a little bit into the content of this subject and take note of the action verb. Describe. What are you doing? It says describe here. In this case, you have to describe the following: Good Friday, Easter, Christmas, Anno Domini, before Christ, and Passover. So these are some of the words that you must be able to describe in this subject. Good Friday, we all know what Good Friday is. Easter, what is Easter? Christmas, everybody can wait to get to that. Anno Domini, what are we talking about? Before Christ, what is that? And Passover. So these are more into Christianity. If you are a Christian, even if you are not a Christian, you have observed this. If you haven't observed it, then you have to make sure that you Google and get more information on what are we talking about by referring to these words. You must also be able to define the following terms: humanity or humanness. What are we referring to? Personal development and self-image. So they are in your books. If they are not in your books, you must explore them through Google. You go to internet and get the definition of those words. Very, very important. Describe the qualities and functions of inspirational and religious leaders. You know, everybody is inspired by someone for certain reasons. And you are looking at the qualities the person has. Be it inspirational leader or perhaps religious leaders. Because some people are inspired by leaders because of what they do in the society. Maybe the minister, for example, the president, for example, the actor or actress, etc. Some are inspired by the religious leaders. Why? What are the qualities those people have? Or what are the functions of those people in the society? So you have to explore more information about this. You must also be able to analyze the characteristics of Jesus. As I said, you don't need to be a Christian for you to answer this question, because you know where to find the answer. Explore the internet, read in your book, then you'll be able to answer this type of questions. Discuss how we should love our neighbor as per Bible. We are talking about the Bible now here. And as I said, you must not be a Christian for you to answer the question, but you have to explore information and what's written also in the book. Explain the beliefs on Holy Spirit. If you are talking about Holy Spirit, what are we referring to? Describe a traditional funeral ceremony. So it can be from any, tradition. Be it Vambu, Colored, Nama Damara, Herero, Zambezi, Kavango. You know, must be able to describe one of the traditional funeral ceremony. Outline factors that can enhance self-image and self-esteem. Even in your classroom, there are learners that are having low self-esteem, low self-image. What are the factors that can enhance, that can help, that can uplift, that can, have a driving force that can uplift that? You must also be able to outline factors based on how to maintain a healthy and sound relationship. You go to some schools, you'll be disappointed. Teacher A does not speak with teacher B. They don't even greet one another. They don't see eye to eye. The head of the department does not see eye to eye with the principal. The principal does not see eye to eye with the school board. Such scenario. But in any case, you need to maintain a healthy and sound relationship. What are the factors that should be considered in this case? Explain the roles of the Council of Churches in Namibia. We are talking about the CCN. What are their roles? You must also be able to explain how to prepare yourself for a job interview. In Namibia, there's no way unless there's corruption. There's amongst that particular institution, because there's no way you will get a job without being interviewed. It's a norm in our country. If you are given a job without going through an interview, then I don't know. So you must then be able to explain how to prepare yourself for an interview. So because you are a teacher but you want to be head of department, you have to go through an interview. So you must be able to prepare yourself. You are head of department, you want to grow professionally to become a principal. How do we go about it? How do we go about preparing ourselves to make sure that we have made it in an interview, and then you get that job that you have been dreaming of? Explain the financial responsibilities of having a family. Having a family is not a walk in the park. It involves a lot of financial involvement. The kids have to go to school, and most of the educated people want their kids in private schools. And private schools are expensive. You have to cough up some dollars. We talk about food, just to provide for the family in terms of, food. There are a lot of responsibilities that you can talk about. Taking them for a holiday, saving money, and etc. You must also be able to demonstrate the content of a CV. What is involved in a CV? What details do you need to enter? Like these days, it's a bone of contention in terms with the reason that coming up with a CV, it does not really have a certain formal or uniform format, but there are details that you cannot miss in the CV. So as a teacher, you must be able to compile a CV and understand what is involved. But if you go back to your book, to your module, you will get a picture of what to include in a CV. So you must be able to compile one, because I know everybody has a CV in their life. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the presentation. So you must take note of what I have given to you, or what is on the slides, for you to prepare well for your assignment. You must revise all the units for the book that's at your disposal. And once more, go back to the verbs. You should have an understanding of each verb, the verbs that we were just talking about, because they always precede the question. A verb precedes the question, but you will only be able to answer the question if you understand that particular verb. And please, you should answer what is asked. You must utilize the experience that you have as a teacher, but you should consult some other sources. We are speaking about a Bible here. Don't mind going to read what is written in the Bible. You can Google, you can go to the internet, make use of your book. So you get some other information as supplement in order to make sure that you have written a proper assignment in a professional manner. And please do not leave any question unattended. A few minutes ago, I was just marking examination scripts. It's very disappointing that some students leave out questions unattended. I cannot publish the reason why is it being done. Perhaps some might say it's difficult. The question is difficult. There's nothing like such thing like difficult questions. Because the moment you the moment you attempt that question, so things are going to flow on their places. So please do not leave any question unattended. Try, you might get it right. Consult some other sources. I was just emphasizing here. Visit the library, go to internet, Google, and get information just for skills and knowledge expansion that you can also bring back in the classroom. Very important. I wish you all the best of luck in your assignment. You can call me, but don't call me for me to give you answers on the questions of the assignment. So my mobiles 0811480977 or 0812531801. But please don't call at night, don't call over the weekends. You can call me from 8 to 5 on weekdays only. My email address is t_shigukumu@yahoo.co.uk. I wish you all the best in your studies, and thank you very much for listening.